Behold my black market Harrow build, an evil drug dealer who uses illegally harvested infested organs to keep himself alive in the thick of battle. Allow me to explain. Here is my Harrow build. As you can see, pretty basic stuff here. You don't need one forma, that was just an impulsive addition on my part. And here's our Pox build. We'll talk about the other weapons in a sec. So this is just a dual stat Pox build, Blast and Corrosive. We've got 4 dual stat mods and I'm biased a little bit more in the direction of Corrosive, of course. This weapon's already got base Toxin, so that's nice. We got base damage mods. If you don't have Jolt, which a lot of you probably don't, that's totally fine. Just make a gas build instead, very strong on this weapon. So just use all the heat mods and all the toxin mods, and that's also very good. Don't use any other elements, I wouldn't recommend that. Just use gas. And you probably don't even need the forma in that case, so that's great. Anyway, fantastic weapon. If you don't have this, you should. It's really, really good. And I'm going to show you why. With these illegally harvested infested organs, we can create gas clouds. If you're not familiar with the Pox, that's what it does. It creates like these fart clouds of death stuff. And these do damage over time. They inflict status procs over time. If you know the primary Torrid, it's the exact same as that. So we're going to fight a group of, let's say like level 80 armored dudes. So this is like your top level sortie enemies, and they're corrupted, so they're probably stronger than any enemies you're going to fight in a normal sortie, unless it's like an infinite mission sortie, like a defense, heaven forbid. So we'll go with those enemies, and we're just going to fight them with our super awesome Harrow build. I know it's like kind of a lot of mods I included, but please don't worry about it. You'll get them soon enough. And with these mods, we're going to fight. So you've probably watched other people's Harrow builds because I'm a bit late doing this. So you know that this gives you overshields. So we're going to get a little more overshields. And then you can use your 2 to get rid of your overshields and get lifesteal, and also fire rate and reload speed. We don't really care about that because now that we have lifesteal, we can just boop and boop and boop and boop and boop and boop those things in there. And as you can see, we're starting to heal. Now if we get a direct hit, you'll see we heal for rather a lot. Rather a large amount. Literally a significant amount. Like a nice, juicy amount. So we can just get shot by these enemies. Like I was getting grazed by bullets. I'm still, getting grazed by a few bullets. And it doesn't matter because you can just parkour around and like boop real quick and drive by dudes around corners with these little poxes, and you will have the health. The health will be there. You will not die. You will never die. Just with this one part of Harrow, you are not going to die. That doesn't even actually take that much energy either, which is the sad thing. Like you only really need like 2 or 3 casts of your chains, and then 1 cast of your flagellate thing, and as long as it doesn't wear off, you're good to go. So that's that. That's the baseline. That is the illegal drug dealing tactics of Harrow. So let's talk about some advanced tactics, shall we? You're ready for a little more? This build is a little expensive, I know, but if you want to invest more in Harrow, well, all right. Let's give you the like 10 forma build right here. So as I said before, it's unnecessary to forma Harrow. Do not forma Harrow. It's so unnecessary. He is way more powerful than you would ever need to play this game. I don't even need the 1 form I put in. It was just impulsive. I don't need the Exilus slot. I could just not have this D and then still have this Vitality and still have this Speed Drift in and just put it not in the Exilus slot. I don't know why I did this. I just have a process, okay? Here's the build. So as you can see, we have narrow-minded. Duration is really important in Harrow. All of his abilities want duration. You can stun people longer with your chains. You can have your flagellate thing on for longer, and it has a max duration of 2 minutes, so you can stack that up quicker. If you recast it again while it's active, you just stack duration. So you can do that. Streamline is good because even though you have Thurible to regen a lot of energy, you often aren't doing that at the same time as you're spending energy. So let me try to explain. So when you're using your Thurible, you charge it up, and this will give you a lot of energy. Like now you can regen a lot of energy. But when you're going to use the energy, you're not making kills, and you only get the energy if you get kills. So let's jump in here. And now if I use my chains to charge up my 2 like before, right? During that time, I didn't kill anything, so I didn't get any energy back. And now that I'm done, I can get tons of energy back, right? Like we're now full energy again, great. But during the time that you're doing that, you don't kill anything. Like you can't, just stop and kill these enemies if you're trying to charge up your 2. So I find that you want to have a big pool of energy and also like some energy efficiency so you can comfortably spam out like a good number of 1s without having to like stop and kill anything, or if you can't kill anything for some reason, that gives you a safety net for that. So that's why I recommend that. Kind of likewise, natural talent, you're going to be using your 1 a lot, and there's also something with your 4, which we'll talk about later, which makes casting speed really valuable because you stay doing these things like much less long. Also, the casting time on your 2 is like kind of obnoxiously long without... Like, this is an ability that's supposed to save your life with lifesteal, but it takes like forever to cast. Not the best time, so I don't recommend that, and that's why I have natural talent. I also have speed drift. Some people lately have been telling me that casting speed has a hard cap of 50%, but I haven't ever heard that anywhere else, and I have occasionally tested with long casting time abilities, and it seems like it does work, but I'm not positive, and until I put it in a video editor and like slow it down, I can't really know one way or another for sure, because I don't have a way to show myself proof one way or another, and no one else has shown me proof. So if somebody would like to do some community service, make something that proves that it doesn't work or it does work, or that casting speed works some way, do that. Or Zelp, if you're watching this, everyone go check out Zelp's channel in the description. He does stuff like this all the time. Someone tell me whether casting speed has a hard cap. Maybe tweet me it on Twitter or send me it on my Discord or whatever. Just someone show proof. You can't just say it doesn't work because this is Warframe. Anyway, whatever. So that's why we have that. Prime Flow is so that we can charge up our Thurible like more. Just you have more energy. So like if we had a normal energy pool, like okay, you can do it for 150. But with this energy pool, you can do it for like a long time. Like you can get like a lot of Thuribles. So if we had a normal energy pool, we would already have had to stop, which is fine, but it's nice that we can charge up, 34 energy per kill. Like that's nice. And then you can just like jump in here and get, like 1 headshot and get 137 energy back. That's nice. Get a little, juicy. 34 per, anyway. Again, unnecessary, but like cool that you can do that. So there's that. And then the last thing is the kind of ponderous addition of stretch, even though the power range is still really low. So the weird thing about power range on Harrow is that it actually only affects his 1 and his 3. This is like a very bizarre thing I haven't really seen before except on Trinity. So his 1 is affected, it goes further if you have power range, but as you can see it goes pretty far with only 85% power range. Like that's pretty adequately far for me anyway. And the hitbox is rather large, so I don't know, I don't have any trouble hitting the enemies I want to with this at that power range. And then it affects your 3, it affects the aura of energy restore that you get. So, your 3 restores you energy when you get kills, and more if you get a headshot kill, but it also restores that to your allies whenever you get a kill or a headshot kill. So you won't give them energy back when you get kills or headshot kills unless you're, within this radius. But this radius is huge, so like it doesn't... Is this really a problem? Like people, you gotta have some synergy. Like just walk toward people if they need energy, And 2, you could also rebuff that problem by adding a bullet jump mod instead. You don't necessarily need to use a range mod for that, especially because, again, it doesn't really do anything for any other ability. The bullet jump mod will let you get to your allies that need energy faster, and it will also give you faster bullet jumping. Like, this is a good mod. Like, just on any Warframe, even if it has no synergy, this is a really good mod. Like, probably the best Exilus mod overall. And it has synergy with your 3. So I would recommend just doing that to solve that problem anyway. By contrast, your 2 and your 4 use affinity share range. So you know how, like, when you're pretty far away but, like, somewhat close to other Tenno, you share all your experience with them? That's the range that your 2 and your 4 use. See, I have my 2 active, but there's no, like, radius of it that you can see. It's just affinity range. If you're sharing experience with other Warframes, then they have your 2, if it's up. And then when you use your 4, anyone in affinity range gets this whole massive invulnerability timer, which we'll talk about later. I think this ability is a little too much, but we'll talk about this later. And then when you have the crit buff, anyone who was under the effects of it for the invulnerability duration gets the crit buff. So that's great. So again, you don't need to get power range for that. Those abilities already have max range. Now, one thing you can do, which is like unnecessary, is not that focus power, that was Madurai, but if you use the Vazarin focus power, you can increase your affinity range. There's like a buff on it. You have to get New Moon, which is the revive people one, and then after that there's like a increase affinity range one. Here, let me just show you. So here's the Vazarin focus tree. Normally people get this for New Moon. This lets you instantly revive people. You get charges of it when you use Mending Tides. This is also like a minor heal, which is fine. Most of the active abilities from the focus trees are kind of weak, but this one's okay. But there's also this other thing called Disciplined Approach. This increases your affinity share range. So it doesn't increase it by like a ton, but again, it is radial, so 10 meters is actually like sort of a lot. And on top of the already very large range that it has, like that's quite big. So if you're doing like a survival, or like you're going really fast in like an exterminate or something, this can matter a lot. Like you can make the range like absurdly massive, and like hitting your 4 will just automatically make everyone invulnerable no matter where they are, kind of at least. So that's something you can do. I don't really think it's a big deal, but I thought I'd show you really quick. Back to some tactics. So you can do that super awesome damage over time lifesteal thing with Harrows 2, and that's awesome. And on its own, that's already enough to carry you through everything in the game. All you have to have is Harrows 1 and his 2. His 3 is gravy. His 4 is totally unnecessary. And on no mods, like a little duration would be nice, but it's not necessary. You could easily complete the entire game with just that, and like kind of any gun, but like Pox is particularly good on one Forma. So yeah, like I think that is kind of enough said. There is more to say. So first of all, real quick, obviously you can do this with the Zenistar, which is like 1,000 kinds of unnecessary, but like you can do this with a large sword. Anyway, whatever. So you can do that. I just think that's cool. Any excuse to use this friggin' enormous Zenistar, I will jump at. So you can do that. And then you could just use normal guns. Like you could just shoot a dude with a normal gun. So let's talk like a little bit about Harrows 4, even though it just like disgusts me because it's the most unnecessarily overpowered ability I've like ever seen in this game. Like, and what I mean by that, I guess, is that like not only is it like really strong, but it's also like so unneeded. Like Harrow doesn't need it. He doesn't have to have an ability that's that good at all, but he does for some reason that evades me. So we're gonna jump in here, and I'm just gonna use my 4 and let these guys shoot me a little bit, and then I'm gonna stun them up real nice like, and flagellate myself a little bit there, and then get a volcano of crits. An absolutely devastating volcano of critical strikes. Oh, you can use this while shooting. That's nice. That's definitely necessary. And then just, we can just keep volcanoing criticals. Like, those enemies have a lot of armor. This Soma Prime does not have a lot of status chance. Like, what? You don't you don't need to do that, but you can. Here's the Soma Prime, since I know people are going to ask, but it really doesn't matter. This is like the most basic Soma Prime build. You can see that I've built it in such a way that it has additional crit damage, like a lot, and Soma Prime already has a higher than normal base critical multiplier, which is why I picked it for this situation that is boosting its crit chance to take advantage of that a million times critical multiplier. But I didn't increase its crit chance because it's just unnecessary at that point. And then we just have a lot of base damage. You want to balance things out like that. We got Corrosive and Cold. It's really basic. Not very high status chance. We're not reducing the armor that much. We have Corrosive Projection on, but like again, they still have a ton of armor. But like it just doesn't matter because that's an absurd amount of red crits. Like, and again, the red crits are now like triple crits, not just double crits. We got orange crits now that are double crits, which I actually really like. It's cool. It creates a lava volcano of criticals. Anyway, whatever. So that's really overpowered. You don't need to do that, but you can. So how I would recommend you use his for, there are like kind of two ways to think about it. One, with the build I'm using, you have very quick cast time, and you stay invulnerable for a very long time, and this makes your whole squad invulnerable. So you can use this to save teammates that are obviously in trouble. You should turn on this thing in options. I think it's in gameplay or in display. Yeah, that lets you see your allies' things. Where is it? Interface, maybe? Show player list, yeah. So when you're in a match, it'll like show the players on the side of the screen. If a lot of people probably have this on, but if you don't, you should turn it on and be nice to people and love people and notice your squad mates. And then no one will ever say notice you senpai ever again. And that will also help you because you can see if someone's dying and then just use this and they'll be invulnerable for a really long time. The second way you could use it is if somebody's down, you can use this kind of like Valkyr's for and just be invulnerable and then go revive them normally. Although do keep in mind, just like Valkyr's 4, this is taken off by nullifiers, so you know you're not completely invulnerable, but like come on. But the way I would suggest you use it is to just not use it because it's totally unnecessary. Like you can just use your 1 to stun everything in the area real quick, much faster and for less energy. And instead you should save your 4 for when you're like really, really screwed. Like if something, like if it's getting bad, you got in way too deep, you were getting cocky with an endless mission and you kind of suck at endless missions like I do sometimes, and you need help, then use your 4 because it makes you invulnerable and then makes you stronger if you take a lot of damage, and that's good. If you don't take a lot of damage, it like doesn't really do that much. You get like kind of a meager critical buff that is like not a big deal, and I don't really think that's worth it. You don't need to, you shouldn't just constantly use it. I believe you should use it reactively. So that's my suggestion for that. Now there is actually one other thing you can do here, but I'm going to quickly show you. It's totally acceptable to just use normal guns here. Like when you want something precise to just get that headshot and restore like a bunch of energy, like just pull it a friggin' Lex Prime, like just get a normal gun. Here's a very normal Lex Prime build. Somebody asked for one a couple days ago. It's very simple. If you don't have these Prime mods, just use the normal versions. If you don't have Prime T to charge, it is cool to just use pathogen rounds too if you want more corrosive. Because this weapon has actually pretty good status chance for a single fire weapon, I kind of like a little heat because you sometimes get a heat proc and then they'll get stunned, but it is less armor stripping. I just don't, it's a single fire weapon, it's not that good at stripping armor anyway, so I don't think it's a big deal, but definitely still run corrosive. If you have Jolt, that's also like totally cool. If you have Jolt from the Pox build, it's cheaper, but I don't know, I think this is mostly better. Again, you're not going to strip that much armor, so I don't think it's that important. I totally recommend you put 5 Forma in this. It's like the best pistol. You know, there are other really good pistols, but this is very consistent, very reliable, very easy to use, plenty of follow-up shots. Unlike a certain someone, if you want a video on this, I'm not talking about it here, so go check in the description. But there's that. Now, again, there is like one other thing. There's one, I've been waiting quite a long time for there to be like a good way to show you all this. As you can see here, we have this thing. If you don't know what this is a bizarre gun that shoots a like microwave thingy, and I'm gonna show you something kind of interesting. So we got a pretty stable a 1% crit chance here, and then we got a juicy 14.5% critical multiplier with a prime target cracker, hollow point, and this gross Riven mod that I think someone donated to me. Thank you. And that's that. And we got some radiation, we got some corrosive, we got some heat for some reason. Don't ask me how Riven mods apply their elements to your build. I don't want to talk about that. And you can do some things with this. This can accomplish some things. I don't think you need to accomplish those things, but if you would wish to do such a thing, you most certainly can. So we're gonna do this again. Grab these guys out of here, and like you know what's gonna happen. Like, oh my god, like what? Like that these enemies don't have like less armor than their like base armor. Like they're no procs. Like that's reduced damage. You're getting 56,000 orange crit. Like what? Like imagine that number. Like I don't know exactly, but that number is probably reduced by like 90% from its base value because they have so much armor. Let's look at like a corrupted ancient or something. And like this enemy resists these damage types like a lot. Not the corrosive, but the oh no, wait, it's vulnerable to corrosive. We don't want that. We want a corpus tech maybe would be nice. Oh, but then it's not gonna crit. Alright, let's go with the corrupted ancient. So what too bad. It's gonna be a huge number, but that's what we're here for. So again, like you really don't need to do that at all. That would be like a way to use your secondary to do a absurd amount of damage, but you don't need to do that. You shouldn't do that. Don't do that, but you can if you would wish to do such a thing. You absolutely can do it. I really don't think you need to do 165,000 damage 8 times per second. Like you don't. But if you want to invest 7 Forma and a Riven mod into a new core, yeah, there you go. So I think that's pretty much all I have to say. Just really quickly, if it wasn't obvious before, like you can do all of this stuff with melee weapons. All of Harrow's stuff does apply to melee weapons. I just don't really recommend you do it because he has not that much armor and we don't have that much health. You know, we have more than a caster Warframe usually has. You know, we have more base health, not 50 armor or like 15 like poor Banshee. Or anyway, there's a caster Warframe, some that have like 15 armor. We have more than that. 150 is good, but you're still not super tanky, and you don't have to go into melee range, so I don't really recommend you go out of your way to. That seems kind of silly. And like real talk for a sec, melee is so overpowered right now, so don't you want some variety? Like, why do you want to use melee on every build? You just use guns. Like, use guns. What melee weapon do I recommend with Harrow? Maybe go for some dual wielding, man. Go for some, grab that ye old Glaive Prime and just kind of dual wield Glaive Prime and the new core, as it were, and have a grand old time there. That's definitely necessary. Like, you don't really need to be able to do this while you have your thing that crits for like 180,000 or whatever, but you can have them both at the same time, which is cool. Anyway, so you can do that. Throwing the glaive will lifesteal automatically. Remember that cool thing that we used to do like a year ago where you put like lifesteal, lifestrike on a glaive weapon and then you would throw it to like lifesteal from a distance? Well, with Harrow, you don't even need to put lifesteal on a glaive. You can just do this and throw it, and even if you don't have bullets, or even if you like forgot your secondary like in the bathroom or something before you left for work, you can still heal from range all the time. So that's what I recommend. Dual wield. By the way, if you want a video on dual wielding, that's also in the description. Now I just have one more thing to say. It's kind of a nitpicky thing. Harrow got buffed. I put this video out kind of late, and yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, Harrow got buffed, and he'd been out for like 6 days, and he got buffed. He was so powerful before he got buffed. So I just want to briefly talk about like why he got buffed, because I feel rather confident that I know why, and I think it was like overall a good decision. Let's kind of just ad-lib talk about what got buffed. So they made you get more overshields per hit, I believe, with your condemn. Penance was able to be 2 minutes long if you stack it up as a max duration, whereas before it only had 1 minute max duration. Thurible channels energy twice as fast. Okay, that's actually a really nice change. Thank you, devs, for doing that. So those are changes. Now, those changes don't matter at all. They don't really make him better. They're definitely nice. I don't know, like they're nice. I'll take the buffs. But it doesn't matter. Like, Thurible being what it is, you really don't need to do it faster, but it's certainly nice that you can do it faster. Condemn, you don't need more overshields from this ability. Like, what? No. It's totally unnecessary. Like, it hard crowd controls enemies, and then it gives you health. Why? You don't need more. And Penance, again, like, it's very nice that you can stack up 2 minutes of duration, but, like, what the hell? Like, 2 minutes of duration? Come on. You should just get a minute and then use it, and then, restore it over time or whatever. It's not a big deal. But they still buffed him. Why? He's so powerful. Why did they buff him? He's a hard Warframe to get. He's a super endgame MLG Warframe, gun spinning master. So why did they buff him? They buffed him because for some reason people thought he was weak. So the devs, I believe, are good devs at Digital Extremes, and like I like the devs. Okay, like some of you have been really hostile toward the developers, and I'm not into it. Like, stop. Like, people make mistakes, and like I'm as critical of those mistakes as anyone. Like, sometimes they buff stuff or nerf stuff or add content into the game, and it pains me, and I get upset about it because I'm like, why did you focus on that when we have like other important things? This game is just waiting to become the best game ever, and it needs other stuff. Why did you put this in instead? That frustrates me. But like, I'm sure they had a reason for doing it, like, or at the very least, no one ever mentions this. They might have had like pressure from their marketing team or their board of directors or something. Like, calm down. Like, they're not stupid. Like, seriously. Anyway, I believe, no conspiracy theory. I just wanted to get that out of the way first. I believe the reason they did this is because people felt Harrow was underpowered. So they were like, well, he's obviously not underpowered at all. He's really, really good. So let's just be able to say that we buffed him on the patch notes by giving him superficial, ultimately meaningless, but like, to their credit, actually still like good changes that don't really make him more powerful, but still succeed in making him better, and will make people think he is better, which will make them stop saying he's bad, which will save our new Warframe from being neglected. Which is a fantastic decision. Like, that's good development. Like, that is a good decision. I don't think there's any arguing with that. And the reason people think he's bad is because they're not good at getting headshots. He's only not good if you don't get headshots. For this entire video, everything that I've done, if you miss, it all does nothing. If you can't hit your shot, or you can't throw your pox while you're parkouring or whatever, or you can't hit enough enemies with your chains, or you can't charge up your thermal and dodge stuff, or you can't get headshots to heal for more, or you can't get headshot kills to get more energy. If you can't do all of that, then Harrow is terrible. But you should be able to do all of that. It's a shooting game. Like, literally, this is a third-person shooter. Like, if you can't get headshots, and then you say the Warframe is bad, like, you're bad. You are bad. Like, you are the one who is bad. Like, you person who just entered my simulacrum without asking, you are the one who is bad. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry at all. Like, you forced the developers to buff perhaps the strongest recent memory Warframe because you can't hit headshots. I am done talking about that. And I'm also done being in the simulacrum with this random person that, like, jumped into my simulacrum. So let's bang out of here real quick and finish the video. So, thanks for watching. I know I said a lot of stuff and this video has been really long, but I hope it covered everything. It was really in-depth and interesting. If you have anything you want to talk about, any questions, any responses to stuff I said about them buffing or whatever, anything, or other weird like combos or weapon suggestions, that's all really cool. Leave them in the description. If you want to talk about other people's Harrow ideas that you've seen that you thought were cool, or other YouTubers' stuff, that's totally cool. I always love to hear that. If you have any questions, you guys know what's going on, right? This was a really long video, so hopefully people will enjoy it, but I know it's not for everyone. If you have someone you think would like this, please pass it along to them. That helps a lot. Share it on Twitter or whatever. It does make a huge difference. If you like this video and you want more people to see it without doing those things, or you have no friends, sorry, but I feel your pain also. We all have no friends, it's okay. You should like it and comment on it because that makes it score higher in YouTube's recommending algorithms. So that would be good if you want to do that. But it's okay if you don't want to, or if you didn't like the video, don't do that. And if you want to see more of this and you're new to my channel, definitely subscribe. Just keep in mind that if you don't ring the little bell that appears after you subscribe, you're not going to get told when I make new videos, because they changed that, which, much to my dismay, was their decision, and it's been like that for a while. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't use the bell, I just check the channels I like manually. But if you want to be told when I make a new video, you have to ring the bell, or that won't happen. Unfortunately, subscribing literally does nothing now. You just add a number to my thing, which is very supportive of you. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. Not gonna lie, I kind of need your support there. Okay, anyway, bye.